Afternoon, Paul.
Hello, afternoon.
Can you tell me firstly, Paul, your thoughts on perhaps the significant football news of the day, the retirement of Frank Lampard, particularly as an ex-Chelsea man yourself?
Yeah, I mean, what a fantastic player. What an amazing football playing career that he had. I had the pleasure to work with him for 2.5 seasons, very closely at Chelsea. I knew him before that as well because I was at the club and in the youth department, and have kept in contact with Frank right up until very recently. I had a couple of messages with him. So I think great midfielder, one of the most outstanding goal-scoring midfielders that I think world football has seen. I mean, the fact that during his peak he was scoring 20 goals a season from midfield is an incredible statistic. I think a lot of strikers in the Premier League level would be proud of those kind of numbers. Working with him day to day was a pleasure to see someone so professional, so dedicated, so hard-working. Every day in training, he came out with the attitude to work hard, to learn, to try and improve. And it's no surprise for me, with that talent that he had and that work ethic, it was a fantastic combination for him to go on and achieve such success at club level and a great international career as well.
You said you spoke to him quite recently. Did you have a little dabble to try and get him in?
I would have loved to have had him here, so I wouldn't be lying if I said I didn't try. But I think he was moving towards the decision that he'd made today, so I fully respected that.
What do you think he should do now?
Well, whatever he wants to, really. I mean, it would be great to see him continue in the game of football. Whether he does or not, it's something he'll think about in these next weeks and months, I'm sure. But he's got a lot to offer, and I'd just like to say congratulations to him for such a wonderful career.
As far as your own squad's concerned, Paul, did a bit of business on deadline day. Jordan Ayew finally securing that deal. Can you just give us the latest on when he may arrive here?
Well, they play tonight in the African nations, and a lot's going to depend on what will happen in that. We hope to see him in the building, the early mid part of next week.
So even if he arrived, there's no chance of him being involved for Sunday?
No.
What do you think he's going to give you in terms of the overall build now of your squad? Another very positive option. Front player, wide or central. Someone who's hungry, who's now proving that he's, just his international tournament that he's had recently, he's done very well, contributed with goals, and he wants to perform on this level. I think he's had a mixed performances at Aston Villa, but we see him as someone that's got some talent, and hopefully can work with him, and so he can have a big impact here. Has he lost his way a little, Marseille?
No, I don't think he's lost his way. I knew him going right back to his Marseille days when he played in the team with his brother, and I was at Paris Saint-Germain, and he was a talent there. He's quick, he can run with the ball, he can score goals, and very happy that he's joining us.
You said the other night back-to-back wins, 2 wins were massive. What would 3 be on Sunday?
Well, we're very happy with the result from the other night. The performance, I said afterwards, was mixed, and we're working at improving our performances all the time. And that's what we're going to do going into this next game. Whatever the result will be. See, Manchester City, a very strong side, and had a fantastic result last night. We're going to have to be at our very best, and we just want to see that we're getting better and better all the time.
What did you make of the game? Have you looked at the tape from last night?
Yeah, I watched the game. They were one of the best games they've played, I think, this season. I haven't seen all their games, but I think they played very well. They looked very strong in the transition, with the front three, young and very athletic. And that will give them confidence, which has been a little bit up and down, I think, recently. but they're a very good side, and from the goalkeeper right through to the front players, they've got a lot of talented players, and even looking at the bench as well, they're a very strong squad.
Gabriel Jesus, is he an exciting talent as far as you're concerned?
Well, he looked it. That was the first time I'd seen him, and yeah, he looks it. 19 years of age, quick and direct, and looks like a very good acquisition for that club.
And in terms of Man City's season, and particularly Pep Guardiola's adjustment to football here, it's been a little up and down. What have you made?
Yeah, they started very strongly, and then a slight dip in results and performances, but it looks like they're back on track after last night's game.
Is he someone you've a little bit of history with? I think back to the Champions League semi-final when you were at Madrid and he was at Bayern.
Yes, and before that, when I was at Chelsea, working as an assistant to Gus Hiddink, it was his first year as Barcelona manager, and they beat us in the semi-final. We'd drawn 0-0 away in Barcelona, and then in the home leg we went ahead 1-0, and then they scored very, very late with an Iniesta goal, and they went on to the final. They knocked us out, and that was very hard to take, but they won that game against Man United, and I think he won 4 trophies that season, his first season as coach. I think he's a wonderful coach for the game and what he's done since his time at Barcelona and going to Bayern as well. I think it's brilliant that he's here in England. To have someone like him along with the other big European coaches is really good for our league.
And just lastly, Paul, from me, Paul, people might look at the last 2 results, look at the situation in the table where you've got a little bit of a cushion, 2 points, and think, Swansea are going to be safe now, they're going to be okay. What would you say to that thinking if you hear that said?
That'd be nice, wouldn't it, if that was the case. But we know we've got 15 games to go. We've got a very hard game on Sunday away at Manchester City. So we keep going the way we are. We've got a big chance. But there's a lot of football to be played. There's a lot of training sessions to go through. A lot of hard work to be done before we get to that point.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Paul, how close were you to getting Frank Lampard? Did you have a chat? Was he at all interested? Or?
Yeah, we had a chat, and I think he appreciated that I'd called him, and because of our relationship, I'm not saying that it got close in any way, but we had a conversation, but it didn't go very far. It didn't go very far, but would have been nice.
Well, you're aiming for the stars, aren't you? Literally.
No, it would have been good, but just his ability as a player, we all know about. But he's also a very good leader and character, and a fantastic professional. But instead, we got Tom Carroll, so I'm very happy.
Just on the window, I mean, it's gone now. Are you disappointed you couldn't strengthen the defence a little bit more, or is you come to terms with it?
No, we looked at it, and we explored a number of possibilities, but the ones that were reality or realistic for us, I didn't think were better than what we had. So stayed the same.
And you kept Gylfi Sigurdsson. Was there any interest from China, as has been reported?
Not that I know of. No.
No interest at all, as far as you know. I mean, how sort of, not relieved is the wrong word, but how pleased are you that you big players, you mentioned Llorente and Sigurdsson before, are actually still at the club now?
It's vital for us to keep those players. You just see the impact they've had in the last games with Llorente and Sigurdsson at Liverpool. Sigurdsson's match winner against Southampton. You need to keep your best players. It's normal.
And it turned out the Southampton win was even more vital, given the fact that there's life in the clubs at the bottom, isn't there? And they showed that in the last 2 nights.
Yeah, of course. There's lots of football to be played. Everyone, Sunderland and Crystal Palace and Hull, Middlesbrough, Leicester, us. We all have the belief, and we're all working very hard to stay in this league.
Do you see it's 3 out of 6 to go down?
Well, it is at the moment, but You know, in a couple of weeks that could be 4 again, it could be 5. Who knows? Could end up being 7 or 8. You know, you just have to take each week as it comes.
How daunting is a trip to play a Manchester City side who showed the form they did last night?
It's a big test. It's a big challenge, without a doubt. But you know, we felt that going up to Liverpool. You know, a team that had been doing well, title contenders, a lot of good players, score a massive amount of goals, and you know, we faced a similar challenge recently. Maybe we're going to a Man City after that result who are a little bit more confident than Liverpool may have been. It's going to be a hard game for us.
And it all started at Manchester City for Swansea City. It was their first game in the Premier League. They were doing fine until a certain Aguero made his debut, and the rest is history, sort of thing. I suppose there'll be plenty within this club, but also outside, who are still surprised Swansea are in the Premier League. That maybe when they went up, they thought they'd be one season and down.
The club have done really well. We want to continue doing well. You know, we think that the club's set up for this league, that we've got good enough players for this league. But we have to work hard for it. You know, there's no reason why, because we've been in here a couple of years, we should stay in here. We have to work every day to try and achieve that.
You talk in glowing terms about Pep Guardiola. He came under fire when things weren't going so well earlier in the season. Do you have any doubt he's going to be a success in the Premier League?
No doubt at all. It just shows how this business is. Whatever you've achieved as a player, as a coach, trophies, wins, you can still be criticised. It's the profession that we're in. But he's a great coach, very innovative. Having spoken to lots of the Bayern players about the training methods, the way that he's approached the games, his tactical awareness, everything was very, very positive. And you can see that from the outside.
So Manchester City could be a really big force in years to come as well. They already are, but they've almost got somebody to take them on another step again. Yeah,
I think so. He's got all the credentials, all the ability to be able to do that.
What about injuries from Tuesday? Anybody suffering at all? Do you have anybody available that you didn't have then?
Leon Britton is fit and training, and that's it.
And Narsing, impressive sort of cameo. Is he ready to start a game now, would you say?
I think physically he's ready. Obviously big impact in his first game, particularly with that movement for the goal. You can also see that he's new to this group and he needs some better understanding of his defensive role particularly, but that's something we're working on straight away. Thank you.
Paul, I know he's going to disagree with you obviously about Pep Guardiola, we wouldn't dare. But obviously you've had more experience of the Premier League than he has had, both as an assistant coach and now coming in as a head coach. It's obviously, even for somebody as great a coach as him, as innovative as him, the Premier League has obviously shown its teeth, that it can, trip anybody up. Are you surprised about that? I mean, is it a case with this league that it is so difficult because it's the best league in the world that actually anybody can be caught out by it?
I'm not sure he has been caught out by it. I think it's just a competitive league. I think when he arrived here, he wouldn't be thinking that this is going to be easy in any way. And he adapted really well and took his ideas and really revolutionised what was going on in German football when he went there. He's made another transition here. I don't think he would have thought it was easy. It's just the reality of the league that there are at any time now 6-7 teams that are competing to win the title. Obviously Chelsea have got a gap at this point, but there are 6-7 teams that can win this league.
Are you surprised though that, say, Conte has come in and been able to do what he's done, that maybe Pep might very well in the second half of the season go on to replicate, but hasn't been able to do maybe the same as Conte has done so far?
Well, I mean, they started really well, and they had they had a downturn in performance, and I think that's normal. Who's to say that Chelsea, that's not going to happen to Chelsea? Hopefully it'll happen in March when we go and play there. Who's to say that Man City are not going to win every game after Sunday until the end of the season? I mean, it can happen. It can happen.
Just a note on Frank Lampard. Obviously, in the early stages of his career, he was actually a Swansea player. When you were due to become the Swansea manager, obviously you had stayed in fairly close contact with him. Did he give you any sort of feedback, what he thought about the club?
Oh, I'd spoken to him about here, and he said it was he really enjoyed his time. It was a long time ago now. It was when he was at West Ham, wasn't it? I think, well, I don't know how old he was when he came here, 18 or 19 maybe? 19. And he spoke really fondly of the club and the people that were here. Actually part of his education on to going on and having such a great career.
And you said he's a great leader. Will you look, bearing in mind your contact with him, will you look to tap into that in terms of, helping develop leadership skills within your own squad at all?
I'm not sure really. I mean, I have a lot of good relationships with players like Frank, and we like to talk about football and catch up when we can. And I liked him as a person, and when you have those relationships with players, it's good to continue that on.
Yeah, absolutely. Final question, obviously psychology corner. I'm joking, good luck for...
No? Really? If you want to, you can.
No, I don't want to do that to you.
Peer pressure, that is, isn't it?
No, I just don't want to upset you.
No problem.
Well, good luck.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Usual 30 minutes, Barbo.